Welcome, you guys, to another pod. I'm gonna just get into it. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yo, what's good, fam? It's AD, place to be. Your boy from ATL by way of Decatur all the way to Brooklyn, back down to Athens in this piece. You know what I mean?
What up, what up? This is Cold Facts reporting live from Brooklyn. You are now rocking with the best.
Boy, Easy Rose, Ab Bros, General Ab Bros representative, you know.
Yes, sir. Tony Stallion here. Welcome everybody. So I just kind of wanted to jump in this, and I'm glad Kofax joined. And then AD, I mean, I love your input too, because I know you was around this time. But the 25th anniversary of the Million Man March just kind of passed, and they had one. I can't remember what year, but I remember there was one where like everyone went, 2 Chainz, all that stuff recently. But I mean, I'd love to hear Kofax. I know you had shared it with us in the chat. You know, you went to, was it the first one or was it one of
the only one.
Oh, the only one. All right.
So, New York the following year.
Oh man, I mean, I'm talking like the real shit where, you know, there's a million of us out there and I know bullshit.
Actual Million Man.
Yeah, the actual joint, you know.
But yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear some of your thoughts, man, on like kind of like what happened. Why did you go? Like, you know, why did you choose to go? And like what happened and what were some of your thoughts that came out of it?
Well, the year was 1995. No, I'm fucking with you. Yeah, man, I was at Howard University. It was 1995. We didn't know no better, so we just went down there, not expecting it to be what it was. But honestly, with my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha, shout out, '06. We had planned for this. It was a big day. It was like a black man's holiday. And obviously, you know, I grew up not a Muslim, but a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and as well Louis Farrakhan, the minister. I literally grew up 1 block from him on 48th and Woodlawn in Chicago. So I was extremely elated when he was going to bring that to the city that I was in school at. So as such, it was a no-brainer to obviously attend, and this was before the internet, and this was before all social and digital and mobile. So the word was out. It was like the thing to do that day. It wasn't even a question that we were going to attend. But when we got there, it was astounding and breathtaking how many people, not just us from, you know, the various schools in DC and things like that and in and around DC, but from across the country. How many black men from across the country made their way to DC to partake in that event? And that was what made it real. That's why I was saying, like, there was no other Million Man March besides that one, unfortunately, because of, I mean, to see a sea of black men in peace and in love and with intention be together for hours and hear the minister speak for 2 hours or more on various topics that affected us immediately, and to do it at the heart and seat of power in this country, on the Capitol. You know, it was an unforgettable feeling that I've never felt since. You know, it's come close. Maybe when Obama won his first election, that was the closest I felt to that level of elation and safety, honestly. There was the worry, though. It was like, wow, there's so many black men here. They could just, like, you know, firebomb this shit right now. You take it out probably.
I know, right?
How many fathers, brothers, sisters, you know, brothers and sons, right?
So to that point, I was just looking at an article. It said there was 400,000 to upward of 1.1 million.
Right, it was way more than 400,000. That Parks number. That's why they haven't counted. They haven't counted crowds on the park since then, because they know they bullshitted us. You know what I mean? Talking at 400,000. You could just easily do the math and look. You know, they have software today where you could literally take pictures and see where crowds are and estimate how many people within that picture. And it was easily over 1 million people that day. But obviously, you know, they play the propaganda game well. And that being said, they would never give us the success of saying that it was 1 million plus men, black men, there on that day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't attend the Million Man March. I think that was '95, so I just graduated from high school. And I was going to college that following fall. The upcoming fall. So I was gonna turn 19 that year, and I was turning 19 that year because that's '95. And I think I even mentioned in the text thread that I probably would have went if I was like went to like a traditional more of a liberal art school as opposed to like a design school. 'Cause, artists in this weird space of being loners and shit like that. And I think also maybe if I would have been in a fraternity or some type of organization, I probably would have went with that group, right? Because sometimes like going to things like that, man, it's kind of like going by yourself, which hindsight is 22 or 2020, whatever the saying is. I probably would have met up with a bunch of cool people regardless, right? But I'm 18. I don't really leave at that moment. I wasn't really traveling that far from home overall, so I just think maybe if I was already in college at the time that the Million Man March happened, I definitely would have went just because I would have been amongst like-minded young people. You know what I mean? But I read about it. My brother went, but my brother mad older than me, so it's that thing, right? But it was cool, man. Just reading about it and seeing the impact of what happened post Million Man March, living in a city like Atlanta, and how a lot of those brothers came back, and they really were more like got more involved in their communities. And I think a lot of times when these type of things happen, a lot of things that happens post any of these type of events don't get reported. And I saw a lot of cool things, results from guys attending the Million Man March just in Atlanta over the course of like 15, 20 years.
Okay. So one other note, unless Rose, I don't know if you have any thoughts. I know we were both young.
I mean,
scholars.
I didn't. I didn't go to the Million Man March. I was a kid. I watched it on television though, but I did go to the other one in 2015. I went to that one.
Yeah,
actually,
that one. Yeah.
Yeah. That you got to call it that one. It's not. It wasn't even.
I mean,
that
yeah.
one.
Not
Nah,
That
and
one.
1,000 was there, but we like met. Like he went and I went like to DC by myself. Linked up with my boy, and then like he was with another group, and then we kind of linked up out there. But the one thing I will say that's interesting is kind of bringing it back to like media is how like back then in '95, a lot of like the traditional media, it was so centralized between radio and like papers, like newspapers and television. And then if you think about 2015, people were like more, how would you say, just like
digital.
Yeah, it was more digital, but it's like, do I want to go? Do I not want to go? So I would think that the feeling was just different, right? So it's like we talk about sports, right? Like to come, I know Cold Facts have shared this before, right? Going home and like everyone on Sunday watching Jordan play, like it was an event. Like you had to watch Jordan play. Everyone went to see that because you couldn't see it later. I mean, unless your friend dubbed it for you, or you couldn't see, right? Like you couldn't see it on, I mean, you might see highlights on ESPN, but it didn't give you the same feel. Versus like now, like I could watch the game kinda, they're gonna replay it. So I mean, it kinda, it just show how like the digital era kind of made, I don't want to say it made people lazy, but just the turnout just wasn't the same. And it could have been Farrakhan too, and it was just a different time, and it's a lot of things that was,
I think, I can't remember if it was that March, but I remember that he did do a stream of a speech. Nah, it wasn't that March. It was after that. But I get what you mean. It's just like less people feel inclined to go because you can just see the highlights. I don't know if you mentioned. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And I was just saying, like, I mean, I did watch it on TV, but just depending on, you're 20 years old, you're 25 years old, you're 30 years old at that time. And just like everyone, it's just one of those things, like everyone just wants to be there. I just didn't feel that way about the one in 2015. Because I could catch it later.
Do you remember what you watched it on? Because I think Kofax talked about it on the newer one, but BET didn't show the newer one, which is a huge
But
loss.
that's not too
Well,
shocking.
BT is owned by Viacom,
Yeah.
so
I'm just saying that's a huge miss right there.
BT is owned by Viacom.
All
So
right. So my next question is, do you guys think we need events like that today?
Absolutely, more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than ever. I mean, I felt like that's the thing that we're missing now is that we replaced in person. I mean, obviously now the virus is here and we
Right.
can't do stuff like that. But prior to the virus, we replaced, communing. There's something about being together, man, in real life, touching each other. I mean, we do this when we can, getting together, being able to breathe within each other and so forth, and just, see each other.
Being
That's
here.
what we don't do enough anymore because of the internet and digital and mobile has replaced it. So we feel like we're getting some sort of community through these screens and shit and and these devices, but it's proven scientifically that it's not made for human for us to, our brains aren't made this way. That's why
Yeah.
people are more depressed now and they feel more isolated now, things like that, even if they are on Zoom calls all the time and
Right.
stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely need one of those every fucking year. Straight up and down. That should be a holiday. Every October 16th should be literally, if black men are gonna have a day off, it should be that day.
Damn,
I'm over
that'd be
that.
ultimate.
Day of Atonement.
Put it in the universe. Nah, it's a good point because yeah, I think no matter how much we evolve, we're still kind of basic humans, and like even today, like I went into my office to wrap up stuff, and it was kind of weird. But like even the small interactions I had with like a few people that were there, I was like, wow, like people that I was like, wow, like this is so great to see you. That connection is just like we need it. I guess we don't have to talk about in detail, but do you think this is something that can be well, I guess you guys kind of already answered it, but do you think this is an event that can be reimagined digitally or in the COVID era? Is it something that needs to happen in person just to
I
build
think
that
it can be in
camaraderie?
person. I think it can be in person. But
Yeah, I agree.
I guess the question is, I mean, brother minister, he's getting old, bro. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
who's that next Farrakhan? Who's the next Malcolm X or Mega Evers or
Riza
any of
Islam?
I'm not saying the next in terms of being like exactly like them, but as I said on the last pod, bro, we don't have a whole lot of national male black leaders. Like it's actually been a lot of the sisters doing this shit. And
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. I think it's 100% beautiful that we got people like the Tamika Mallory's doing the hard work that's out here fighting for our justice. I do think, man, who are the brothers out here, right? So I'm not calling out nobody, but it would be great that
I mean, like, I feel like Killer Mike could lead something like that nowadays. I feel
he
like
could. I think
I
he
feel like he
could.
could. I feel like maybe you
He's
could
still
do
a
it in Atlanta,
celebrity though. He's still a celebrity.
right? But
You
I
know.
don't discount cats because they're celebrities. You know what I mean? That's just their route. I don't want to take anything away from their intention and their truth. You know what I'm saying? Like if
I just don't
that,
trust them.
huh?
I just don't trust them because they can easily be bought. That's my
But
opinion.
shit, can't we?
I mean,
I mean, what's the saying we say? Shit, everybody
Everybody got a
got a
price.
price. But what I'm saying is like everybody can be bought. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like it's just the degree to which what you selling. That's really it. It's like, all right, we all got jobs, you know what I'm saying? So to a degree we bought. But the fact is that I'm not gonna go to the length of I'm not going to sell my integrity and my moral code and compass for for any amount of money, nonetheless, just to get on some fame shit. And I think Killer Mike is a man of integrity and a level to which I can say confidently he's not that.
I just know that to do that type of work of organizing massive amounts of people, typically requires somebody to dedicate their life to that, and that's something
Exactly.
that
That's what I
you
was
just
gonna say. Like, do
can't
these
usually
people
turn
want?
on and
Yeah,
off, right? Like
That's why we don't have. But that's why we don't get the Malcolms and the Martins and the Mandelas and the
right.
and so forth, because we've seen that you dedicate your life to it and you give your life to it. You know what I mean? And like we said earlier in the other pod, it's just like I'm not willing to die for this. You know what I mean? I'm willing to flee. I think there's a better world. I'm not willing to die for this structure, the construct the way it is right now.
But I guess we're saying like if there is another Million Man March, who are besides a Killer Mike, who else is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. We don't have leaders like the minister anymore. You know, it's just a different generation. And I think that started with Gen X, moved through Gen Y, and now Gen Z. It's just that model of the singular one at the top, that doesn't really fly anymore. So I think it won't be a leader. I think it'll be a group. Very similar to how the kids arranged the March for Our Lives.
Yeah.
And it was a group, you know what I'm saying? Those high school kids from Florida. I think it'll be something like that now. So it could be, you know, it could be Black Lives Matter specifically for men or something to that degree, you know, but I don't know if it'll be specifically a leader that drives it anymore like it did before.
yeah, man. I mean, I agree with that. You got to kind of evolve a little bit.
Well, fellas, I gotta run, but you guys can keep it up. You know, dad duties.
Nah, oh,
Yeah, me
good.
too, actually.
Okay. We will wrap that up and it'll be a singular piece. But nah, I appreciate you guys giving me your 2 cents on that, man. And Rose, I guess wrap this up and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, definitely. Easy Rose, another edition. Ab Bros. No soft talk when it comes to telling the truth.
All right.
All right.
Peace.